Hello everyone, this is Aaron again with another video. Bringing out one of my guns. I used to really love this gun. This is my FX Wildcat Mk1, and I shot it without any problem for about 2 years, and then after that I just started having quite a few problems with it, and finally I had a problem with this thing. It just lost power. It just would not shoot. I think I got up to maybe 530. Between 450 and 530 is as fast as it would shoot a pellet. And so I sent it out to have it fixed. It came back even more messed up than it was before it left. And so basically I got it, kind of threw it on the shelf for a few days. I was mad, got the thing, but couldn't get it to work. And right about that time I started getting involved more with my P15s and stuff, so I kind of just forgot about it. But at the time that it broke 3 years ago, I did post a video saying, "Help, can somebody tell me how to fix this thing?" And this is the video I posted right here. In that video I asked for help. So I got some people who contacted me, but most of the things that they were telling me, I checked and it wasn't the case. And so I just kind of, like I said, left over the shelf for 3 years. And then luckily, Chuck here just watched the video and he sent me something. He said, "Aaron, I think I know what your problem is." And he gave me a step-by-step instructions on what to look at to try to fix that problem. And since it didn't go in the same direction as the other ones that I had gotten, suggestions I had gotten years ago, I said, I'm going to give this a try. So I'm starting this video before I even taking the gun apart yet to go with those instructions, because if you're watching this video, it was a success, what Chuck told me, and otherwise you would never know. But Chuck would. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this gun apart and I'm going to follow the instructions he talked about and see if we can get this thing to shoot between 850 and 900 where it used to be shooting, and that this will recycle. What was happening was I did get it to the point one time where it was shooting pretty well, but I couldn't get the magazine to cycle. It would jam after every shot, and I would have to shoot, be pulling on the lever. At the same time I'm pulling on the lever, I got to have a hand back here moving this around till it cocks, trying to line these holes up. Did I shoot again? Same process, pulling back on it until I line this up and it cocks. So if I had to do a follow-up shot or something, it was just impossible. I may as well had one of the old guns from the old days. Remember when they used to have the single feed? You cock it, put a pellet in, shoot. Cock it, put a pellet in, shoot. Basically, that's what I was back to with a modern gun. So with that, I said, okay, I'm going to work on this thing. I did get it to shoot, but I never could get it to recycle. Now I'm going to try what Chuck has told me here and see if I can get both this thing to recycle and to shoot at 850 to 900 feet per second as it used to, using the GSB heavies and 22 cal. And hopefully that's going to take care of the problem. So I'm not going to show you taking this gun apart, because there's no point in doing that, because here's an excellent video right here if you want to. If you do have one of these, check out this video that's done by Air Guns Arizona. And so since you can go to that and see exactly what I'm gonna be doing in terms of breaking this gun down, there's no point in me posting that. So I'm going to go ahead and break it down and come right back. I'm going to start this process and see how it works out. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I'm not going to show a close-up of the gun. I'm just going to kind of walk you through what I'm trying to do here. Okay, I have the barrel out just as the guy who in the instructions from Air Guns Arizona said how to get this out. And that's good, because while I got it out, I'm going to go ahead and follow his example. I'm going to put a new new O-rings in both places where I got that out. But I can actually see what he was talking about right now. Here's the port where the air goes in to blow the pellet out. And if I look through this thing, I lined it up perfectly with the slot that's on top that locks it down. It's just slightly off. And look, it was like that right from the factory, because I did have this taken off one time, but I never took it off myself. Maybe it was never put back on there correctly, but I'll make that correction when I put it in. But they made a big mistake here. One of the things they did with the impact, and they should have did it here also, they put a notch back here. And they put a notch in there. So when you slide this thing in, it locks into that notch. And you know you got it in there because it won't spin any long. You can put this thing in there and spin it around and get that port pointed up. If you don't know what you're doing and you don't follow the instructions right, there's nothing to tell you when this thing is locked into place. And not only that, but in the video, he said if you push this thing back too far, you won't be able to get the magazine in. So you got to kind of play with that too. So I don't know what they're thinking about. That should have locked in better than that. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and I'm taking the pin out to hold this thing in place. I'm gonna try to put this thing in place. I'm gonna try my best to get this port lined up, and then I'm gonna try to get the cocking mechanism right, and then we'll just see if that works. But for the most part, this is just a short video to say that I'm hoping this will work so I can start shooting this gun a lot more. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and do the O-ring thing. I'm going to go ahead and put this thing back together and tell you how I do. This is a very, very short video for those of you out there who may have had this problem. Because I know some other people did contact me with the same problem at that back then and told me what they thought the fix would be. But I tried all those fixes and none of them worked. This is the first time someone had told me about this alignment problem. So we're going to see if that will fix it. So we'll be right back with that. Okay, we're back, and Chuck, I just want to thank you, man, for sending me these instructions. I'm going to post these instructions up here a little bit later on in the video, so you could just stop and read what he told me to do. And everything he said in here was right. He talked about the pin, but the pin is actually on top of this thing. You have to take this guard off right here and get to the pin that's up there that holds the barrel in. But other than that, everything he said about it, the misalignment and all that, I found out to be that this screw, I don't know how I did it, come loose, and over time shooting the barrel had kind of canted and moved a tiny bit forward. So I was able to tighten that up, get the ports all lined up, and I went in. I had it shooting right away at about 800, but I also had some other adjustments. I finally got it to where it used to be between 850 and 9. Shooting the heavy pellets in 22 caliber. But let me just say some things to you that I ran into once I had fixed that problem. Once you take this Mark 1 apart and do anything to it, you had better mark where everything is. Because if you're off by 1/8 of an inch anywhere on the two things I'm about to show you, your gun either will not cock, or will cock, but the magazine won't turn into the place to let the pellet through or jam, or it will shoot with low pressure, because it would actually back the port off because it's back too far. And this thing going all the way up in the lining, it'll be just back. So let me show you the headache I've been working on for the last 2 hours with this thing. Once I figured out how the fix was, just getting it back together. Let me just stand up and show you that. Okay, right here. Okay, right here. First of all, if you ever try to make an adjustment on this thing here, on this cocking mechanism, you had better really know where you had it, okay? Because if you don't get this cocking mechanism right, and it doesn't go back far enough to cock it, or doesn't go far enough back to turn this magazine, it won't cock. Then if you get it right, it will cock, but then it won't turn the magazine right. There's all kinds of things. But when you finally get this, what you want this to do is this. When this thing closes down, you want to hear that snap. Hear that snap? If it's doing that, if it's closing and not snapping, if you don't hear that snap, then you don't have this right. So make sure you get that snap. Once you get that snap aligned, then you do have it in the right place for this thing to push back, come back, and slap. If you do it if you have it 1/8 of an inch this way, 1/8 of an inch this way, you will not get that snap. So once you get that snap going, the next problem. You've already loosened this up. This whole top portion here is actually locked onto the air cylinder by 4 screws down here. Okay, when you unloosen those screws to take the barrel out, this is going to move. Okay, if this thing here moves 1/8 of an inch either way, you got the same problem you're going to have up here. This has to be perfectly aligned. That has to be perfectly aligned. Once you do that, the thing will start to shoot at whatever you got it set for, 850, 900, or whatever. And when you cock it, it's going to fire. Before, I could cock this thing, and then when I put it down, when I got ready to cock it, I had to bring it back and I had to play with this until it cocked. Okay, every time I shoot, pull this back, line it up, go through. But this would not line up. Okay, but because of what Chuck has told me to do and other things I discovered during that process, I got it figured out now. Okay, so let's just now take a look at what this thing can do now that I've done all that to it. Okay, before it would not cock back and shoot, but now it does. Okay, So we were able to get that sorted out, the whole thing sorted out. Now one of the things is this thing here does not sit in there solidly. So if you snatch it around every now and then, this thing here, that little spring that holds it in place could get weak, and this thing can move around. That could lead to also some little jamming on it. I think that a lot of things that they missed a lot of things on this Mk1. The barrel alignment does not have something in there that snaps into place to make sure you got it aligned with the port. This screw back here can come loose. This magazine here, besides getting all ate up by the cocking mechanism, can actually move around in there and actually jam because it's not in there silent, so it can actually get askew and that sort of thing. But I'm just happy to say I got this thing back shooting again, so I can actually start putting in a few more videos and maybe take it to the range sometime too and just have a little bit more fun with it, because it's been really over there in their gun rack for 3 years basically, almost. Well, yeah, 3 years since I've had it for, I think, for 5, and it's been in the rack for 3. So it's out now. And again, let me just post this right now. This is these are instructions he sent me. Take a look at those if you own one of these guns. If you don't own one, disregard it. I'm quite sure they fixed this in the Mk2 or the Mk3. But if you got a 1, if you haven't had this problem, you're the luckiest person in the world. So with that, we're gonna let you go. And again, I want to thank Chuck here for sending me this, getting me back on this gun, because now I can take it out and start shooting it a little bit more. You guys have a good one, and we'll have another video for you soon. Keep it safe, guys.